You call the meeting to order at 4:16 PM. Meeting of the Berlin, Massachusetts Council on Aging. I'll do a roll call. Pat Wheeler. Kate Bliss,
Here.
Linda Robinson,
Here.
John Barrett,
Here.
Karen Schultz.
Here.
Robert Blair here.
Oh, me. I'm Laurie. I'm here.
Oh, why, how is it going? Because I made out this list. Anyway, Laurie Fairbay.
Here.
Good, thank you. Sorry about that. First
Melissa
item of
Sargent.
business will be to welcome our new board member, John Barrett. Have you all met John?
Thank you. Thank you.
I met him today.
Yes.
Have you been,
Alive?
do you know John, or do you want him to say something about himself?
Do you care to know?
That's
a question.
Well, John got to know me on our little walk amongst
Sure,
the
I'll
building.
give you a little background why I'm doing. I'm living in Berlin for about 16 years. I moved here in 2013 with the Mosaic Commons group on the hill. So I'm part of a community. And one of the things I've wanted to do, my career-wise, I've retired in 2013. I worked for IBM and I managed a sales training business out of Burlington, Mass. And then now what I'm doing is I'm a certified trainer for cancer survivors. And I'm also a jewelry craftsman. So I'm one of those guys that took spoon rings and advanced them to fine silver enamels in the 60s. So I do that, and my wife does pottery. And then I stay busy within the community doing a variety of things. But I really wanted to do this for a while for a couple of reasons. It's a way of getting to know my community better. It's one thing. And I actually have sort of a vested interest in the services that I want to learn a little bit more about. So it's a combination of that. And I have a lot of resources in our co-housing community that I think I can use for furniture and things like that, that be more than willing to help out. So I'm happy to join you folks and looking for your leadership, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Soon we will.
Welcome. Welcome.
Well, we're glad you joined, John. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the hood.
I live near Bob, so I come with an aura of suspicion, you know. So.
He even bravely walks by our house. He and his wife walk by our house on our street and put up with our dog going within the limits of the electric buried fence, woofing her head off at them.
Yeah, we're always testing your system there, Bob.
I know. Fortunately, she obeys the border. Do we have a financial report?
We do. All right, so, we were not able to meet in December, correct? Right, it was December. So, I have December and January. So donations for, December and January totaled $167.50. There is, December had yoga for $41.50 and Tai Chi for $28. And then we had a van donation as well for $20. For January, yoga was $38 and Tai Chi for January was $40. We do not have any van donations for January because we do not have a running van, which we will discuss later.
Oh,
Yes.
do you have all that written down?
I do on mine. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Do you
Can I
want
get
a copy? Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And then expenses, yoga was 165 for December. To close out January will be 220. Tai Chi was 220 for December. It'll be 220 for January. Meals on Wheels mileage, we just started paying out. Bob, I don't know if you want to claim it. April is now starting to claim hers again.
Yeah.
So there was about $20 for December and she'll end up with about 45 per month now.
Yeah.
So,
I'll pass.
that is all I have for financials.
I have a question because of
Yeah.
your experience with the Clinton Senior Center and COA. You have Tai Chi and yoga going on over there.
Mhm.
Do you have a fee that you regularly charge, or is it optional as it is here?
Optional. Yeah,
And how do they respond?
they do not pay like Maryland pays.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, donations were not,
Hmm.
received. Don't think
Interesting.
over there. Yeah, it's
Mm.
consistent. There's people are paying $2 per person. And again, it is donation, so if they don't have it one week, they don't have to pay. But it is consistent when I look at the attendance list. Everyone's been paying $2.
I don't know if it's critical to our bottom line, but is there any value in setting a charge for the classes, like $3, $2, $5, whatever? Would that discourage people, do you think?
Possibly. Because again, the people that are coming are paying, so I'd hate to
Mhm.
increase it and then have them
Good point.
not come.
Yeah.
I
It
think
sounds like
also-
$1, it sounds like $2, but I think,
Yeah.
you know, it starts to add up when they're coming every week. Like you said, our bottom line is just kind of extra money, you know, it's in our budget to be able to do. Maybe we have a reception at the end of the year or in the springtime or something,
Mhm.
just a little bit extra for them, provide waters, I don't know. You know, to use a little bit of the money that they're donating back towards them,
Mm.
something to think about.
I think it's good that they pay the
Mhm.
donation. Because I think as we went further somewhere, we talk about activities. I think from everybody's that I looked at, it looks like a lot of the activities are charged for because someone else comes in and does whatever.
Mhm.
And so sort of not setting the precedent or establishing that it's okay that everything be free, I think is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because we don't have the budget to pay for all these people to come in and, you know, do the things we want to do.
Right, I mean, we
Suppose-
are already covering a cost, for the classes, I mean, they're $60 per class. Yoga is actually 70, with the newer instructor than previously. So there's a little bit of an increase in there too. So we're already covering 50-ish, 60-ish dollars per class from our funding, which we can use the formula grant for. So that's okay. We don't need to, you know, make up money and have them start paying $10 for a class, but we are,
It takes the
we
edge off
are,
a little bit.
yeah, but we are covering a significant amount. I would just hate to see the numbers go down because we're trying to charge more.
Mm.
Right.
And now we're not getting
Right.
even $10 a class.
Mhm.
We're getting 3 people coming and, you know,
Mm.
Yeah.
so.
I get that, but did I understand, did I understand you correctly to say you thought there should be some charge?
No, I just was glad
That
that
there's
even though
something.
it's a donation, people are paying.
Right.
So that they're not totally turned off by the idea that this may cost them a little bit. you
Right.
know?
Or turned off by the idea of their commitment. I mean, they committed to do some things for themselves. And a little money motivates people to stay involved.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah,
Much certainly is debatable, but I
right.
totally agree with it. So,
How about other services? In Clinton, there are van rides.
Mhm.
In Bolton, there are van rides, and in Bolton, they charge depending on the mileage traveled,
Yeah, Clinton does not charge.
so all of their rides are free.
Mhm. Through WRTA, that was
Right.
set up through them, so I don't know how that works to not charge, but it was the same. Donations are
Mm.
accepted.
what is WRTA?
Worcester Regional Transit Authority.
Okay.
They in
Alright.
fact don't have any charge for any of the public buses in Worcester. They're all free.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
oh, grant money.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least for the last couple of years, I
Yeah.
know that they haven't charged for rides.
And in Worcester, it's really bumped up their ridership too.
Yeah.
I'll bet, yeah.
I'm sure they
Wow.
have.
It seemed like in Bolton, the rides, I forget the name of that, the group they use for the rides,
They
but
have, they have Mart.
yeah, it was pretty minimal, like what they would charge. It might be $3. If you're going really far, it might be $5, you know?
Yeah.
But it wasn't exorbitant.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a very low fixed income, every penny counts, but
I think too in Bolton, if I remember correctly, they don't just do senior rides. I think they
Hmm.
do rides for kids that are going to practice or, you know,
yeah.
so
I think
they,
it's broader.
I think they have, yeah, I think they have a broader,
So
Yeah.
any-
Reach.
Any citizens of Bolton can
I
ride?
think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know the
think so.
exact rules and regulations
Yeah.
for it, but I do know that where we are specifically for seniors, they are allowed to have. I guess they would be minors too, right? Because they're not 18, so
I understand
Somehow.
if somebody went to a sporting,
parent,
they could get a ride there, and then when the event, the sporting practice or whatever ends, they can get a ride back to their homes.
yeah.
No, I think I like to get people where they need to be quickly.
Yes, yeah.
You know?
I mean, especially now, it's nice to be able to
Yes,
provide it for low or no cost.
particularly now, yeah.
But yeah, that is where we are at.
You
for
said
summer
something
camp.
earlier I was curious about. There's expenses that you mentioned. Where were those from? I think they were from the yoga and then from
Yeah.
something else. What are those?
That's just paying the instructors, the
Oh,
cost for the
okay.
instructors.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. And then the mileage. For our Meals on Wheels delivery, our people that deliver the meals, they can
Okay.
claim their mileage.
Okay. great.
So they just send me their starting mileage and their ending mileage. And then every week it's about the same because the routes don't really change too much, so.
Is that's a much more simplified system than when I started driving, where you submitted the mileage and then somebody was.
You had to write down where you started, where you went, how far it was,
Yeah, I
where the
know.
next address was,
Yeah,
where it
and-
went.
And somebody was looking on Google Maps or something and
Oh.
determining, and
Yeah,
it was not right. I mean, your odometer tells you how far you're
so
traveling.
that's what I did. Last month was just the starting and the ending every Thursday and
Yeah.
then attaching the route list with it.
Right.
And anybody could then look up and say, okay, if she starts here and goes here, 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 and here, then it's consistently 15 miles, 14 and some change, so 15.
Well, the number of people you deliver to changes as it just went down again this delivery day. But the driver that I replaced on Tuesdays
Mhm.
quit because he was really affronted by the fact that questioned the mileage that he said I'm looking at the odometer, I can tell you how many miles it is.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I did not get that question yet. hopefully.
Okay, well, there's more later on transportation issues. We have a director's report.
Oh, sure. Want me to just keep going? So we are, do you want me to just answer the questions that you had on here? Like the report and the status of the building and,
If you have, you can do it that,
I did.
whatever way is comfortable for
Okay.
you. At some point, I'd like to touch on some of these, all of these, actually.
okay, so I mean, I just went through and kind of answered
That's
what
fine.
was on there.
Sure.
So is the meet and greet, at 19 Carter was last Saturday. I felt like it went really well. It seemed well attended. Thank you for all the baked goods for everybody that baked, because those were enjoyed by all. A lot of good questions. I think a lot of it revolved around transportation. Some of it was, do we have a handyman? Do we know who to contact for, I need lights or, whatever. So we did try to do, I spoke about Neshoba neighbors, being able to help a little bit. And then, some of the questions were, why weren't people volunteering through the COA instead of joining Neshoba neighbors and whatnot? I don't think that's a bad program. I think it's good to have that. For those that don't have family close, in my opinion, it's a way to help your parents, your grandparents, and they can call Neshoba neighbors and get the help that they need. And they're gonna get taken care of for a minimum price for the year. There's 3 different price points, I believe it was. So we talked a lot about that. I think it was rides and kind of just what we're bringing to the COA now, what we're trying to start, anything new that we're trying to get off the ground. A lot of new people in the 55+ communities coming into town. One of the things I'm looking at for that is our senior tax work-off program. So right now, you have to be a Berlin resident and own and occupy your home for 5 years, a home. So if you move from a house in Berlin and you downsize to another, say you go to the 55+ community, those years that you were in Berlin owning your home do count. But a lot of 55+ are coming from out of town into town and and we can't help them with the senior tax work-off program right now until they've been there for 5 years.
So that makes them eligible for the,
It makes them ineligible until until they've owned their
Counties for 5 years.
their home for 5 years. Yeah, so
They have to be homeowners or just residents?
you know.
Owners.
owners,
you have
yeah,
to own your property.
Yeah, okay.
But
Oh,
it's
okay, 'cause
55
it's
over,
the
they own
tax-
them.
Mhm.
So,
Tax
yeah.
write-off.
Yeah, it's the tax
Yeah.
write-off.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to be the property owner and occupy,
Sure.
so you can't
Own it and rent it.
own and rent it out and still get,
Yeah.
money towards it. So I thought that was interesting that they were asking about that, especially with property taxes going up. I'm getting quite a few calls about the property tax work off, so. I did talk to Chris and the town administrator, and we're gonna look through the bylaws and the local. Regulations and try to go back to the select board and see what we can kind of figure out to help more seniors.
I found one, I think, I forget how long ago, somebody who was actually a master electrician and is retired, offered to be on a tax work-off or something similar. And there was this, I said, well, we need to do some wiring in the
Is he
COA
still
space.
licensed?
I don't know what the situation is.
Maybe
Good,
because
it
he's
may-
not an
It's
employee.
probably
there
because
would
they're
be
not-
liability.
He's not
liability it
licensed.
presents,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's only certain things you can do
Yeah,
for the
so it's,
work off.
it's more, I would say more clerical duties, light.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Housekeeping, things like that we would need.
Yeah.
What are you,
I do
if
the
you don't mind.
town reports and I do the
Okay.
House News.
yeah. So it's more, I would say more clerical administrative positions. I think when you go into. Whoa.
Wow.
Master electricians.
Wow.
It would be licensing and contracting, I think. I think that's probably where, if he's not licensed, it's a liability
He's
to,
licensed, but he's not an employee.
yeah,
Liability insurance of the town would not cover him.
yeah. I'm
interesting.
sure that's where it probably,
So, he could
It
buy
seemed-
the place.
When I first heard it, it seemed like such a lost opportunity.
right.
Master electrician, why not use him?
Why not use him as, yeah. I know that when I was in Clinton, I did have a number for a handyman, but we specifically said he is not licensed, he is not insured. This is on, your taking if you want to. I don't know if that's, if he got many calls after I told people he wasn't licensed and insured and bonded and, all that. But that's, yeah, that's where I think
Okay.
we'd be with that. I think it's just a liability.
But he could be used for his knowledge to understand problems and help people determine solutions, but not create the solution himself. Right?
Not implement it, but he.
Yeah.
can
He
help.
could, yeah, he could
Okay,
help, I
and
guess I
his
guess he would be able to do
expertise, yeah.
provide like a quote per se of what it would
Yeah.
cost to have it done, but at that point, you're still having to go contact somebody else. So if you
Ah,
bring this
okay.
person in
So
and
it's more
say,
work than it's worth it. Okay.
I
Okay, got it.
believe so, we might just want to kind of streamline it and keep it into,
Well, I mean, he could look at the proposed bid on a certain project and say, well, that's nuts, or that's a very good price.
yeah.
Is there a list of what people can do for that work?
It's on the, I think the application, you can write what you are interested in.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then
there's like categories.
I think so, yeah, and then there's, I think what would happen is, and Peggy Sardell takes care of this for us, but then she sends out to all the town departments, do you need help? Are you looking for help? About how many hours? And then she kind of matches people up into what their
Okay,
interests
okay.
are.
Yep.
I think we have 9 or 10 this year,
Hmm.
so I think that's great for the size of Berlin. I think that's, it is helping. But I would like to see more people be able to take advantage of it. So if we can kind of look at the guidelines and restructure it to make it more available, I think that would be a good thing.
Is that a program that would allow us to acquire, say, a van driver, or is that something entirely different? Presently, our van.
I mean, if they
drivers
want
pay-
if they want to volunteer,
Yeah,
we
Again.
could look into that, but
maybe
again, it's,
liability in that.
yeah,
Mm.
You're having them drive a town vehicle with elders in it. I'm not sure about the liability of that if they're not an employee.
I can check.
so if somebody's in the work-off program, they're not considered a town employee,
No,
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 no.
rats.
I'll put that on my to-do list to find out if we can,
Yeah.
if that's something for the driver. But I mean, you were there, you were present. How did you think it went?
I thought people asked good questions.
Yeah,
They seemed interested, seemed happy to have a new director.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I
How
think
many
it
were
went well. I was,
How many were in attendance?
I would say 15, not including our board and Evie's 19 Carter employees and stuff. I think
Okay.
there were probably 15,
Yeah.
12 to 15
I
people.
thought it was pretty good.
I was surprised I was that popular, actually.
You got a few questions. It's always an indication. of
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, there
Is it-
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there were a couple women looking for more of a grief support. You know, they're newly widowed,
Hmm.
and they just moved into the 55 plus community. So they're craving things
Yeah.
in programs. And one thing I am working on is a survey. And I'm trying to look at other surveys that have been done in other councils on aging and comparing what our needs are. I'm gonna try to keep it basic, simple, circle, you know, are you interested in this? Yes or no? Are you interested in this? Yes or no? I feel like the more time it takes people to answer, the less response we're gonna get.
Got it. Keep it.
And the plan is to send it out to every address in Berlin that has somebody residing there that is 60 plus. So they don't necessarily have to be the homeowner. It could be, you know, your in-laws or you're taking care of your parents or whatnot, but just to try to get a pulse on exactly what they want.
It's the old Powder House News mailing list, actually. That was all the senior households.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I do have that list. I have a list from Eloise as well.
What was that list, 60 plus?
Yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to cross-reference with our, the database to my senior center that we got back reinstalled so I can
Oh,
track
we did.
things. We did.
We did.
Yes, yes. So, I started putting everything into my senior center, from yoga and tai chi from those sheets that have been attended. It's all in the system. So now if anybody asks, you can just pull it up. You know, it's very data driven.
Yeah.
And that's what we like, you know, it'll be very quick to figure these things out, see who's attending events. If we come up with another idea, oh, you know, so-and-so went to this one, maybe they'd want to join this one. You know, just to reach out, it takes 2 seconds to do, you know, a broadcast, which is just a robocall. You know, hey, we have an event coming up, just letting people know.
Mhm.
Little things,
You
but
mentioned a couple of things that raised questions from me. You said that the one senior community, I assume that's off of Pleasant Street, are there other ones?
no, it's Hillside, is it, what is Highland Ridge?
Oh,
Highland-
what is it called? It's something Ridge.
Wheeler Ridge?
No,
Wheeler
but there's
Ridge?
another name to it.
Highland Ridge, right?
Wheeler Road.
Wheeler
Yeah.
Road, Highland Ridge, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the newer 55
Okay,
plus.
Then I
community.
live closer to that one. which is
Okay.
why I'm familiar with it.
Okay, yeah.
You have another one down on River Road West,
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
and you got Northbrook 1 and 2.
yeah, yeah.
Do they know how to
Meadowbrook
access
is on
those?
River Road West.
Wait,
What's that?
Meadowbrook is River Road West.
Meadowbrook?
oh,
Yeah.
Meadowbrook.
Meadowbrook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you, Kate. So that is why I'm hosting the meet and greets
Okay.
and the come meet me and the find out who I am.
Sure.
Because I feel like it potentially wasn't accessed
Mm.
previously.
Mm.
And people didn't know where to go. I
Yeah.
mean, if you need help filling out papers and you just don't know how to do it, they can come to me, you know, and it's just safety and knowing that they have somebody to go
Right.
to for these questions it may seem like a little thing, but
It's pretty big.
you know, it is a pretty big deal, you know, when you get something, you don't know how to
Yeah.
fill out paper.
Yeah.
And then I'm also a notary public, so, you know, if we need anything, you're getting in the, you know, the legal papers and wills and, you know, whatnot, you want those to be looked
Sure.
at and made sure that everything is in order.
Absolutely.
So I'm planning one for February here, which I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but, and then I want to do a session 2 at Northbrook Village. Just so people can put a face with the name and know,
And we can
that I'm
join
here.
those sessions.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
recommend on Northbrook that you do it 2, 1 in Northbrook, 1 in Northbrook 2, because the meeting rooms, community rooms aren't big enough to hold everybody
From both,
places.
okay, okay,
Hmm.
so I'll do a couple different ones. I think, so then, that pretty much covers, I think, 19 Carter. And then status of the COA space, I have moved the durable medical equipment off the wall. Yay! We were able to, if you're looking at the previous director's office, there was a room to the right. Has like a vent in it, system in it, but we've put everything over to the side and there's a shelf. So Ken actually helped with that project. And did quite a bit of the moving for me. So everything is in there. I do have to reorganize and kind of make it, a little bit more.
It's in the closet.
It is in the closet now.
We
Yeah.
used to have it in the closet. They made us take it out.
Yeah, so it's back in that closet. Um,
I think because of the system that was in there, they want to make sure.
I
have
think they go
access
in
to
and
it.
out. I think he checks it every day.
Oh,
So we just had to keep like a path,
oh,
like a
okay.
clear
Okay, so
path.
it just need to be more
So it just
organized.
needs to be more
Yeah,
organized.
not thrown in there
Yep.
and disorganized.
Yeah, so that's all set. Hopefully, my thought was by moving that, it then allows all of that back space to make that, like a coffee meeting area in the back corner.
Are we gonna use the old director's office? for that?
We were, they actually, took that space for, I don't know exactly what they're calling it. They got a grant for some sort of health arrangement, something. So they needed that space in order to get the grant for it.
The equipment could have gone in that space.
Yeah, I did say that too. But this is what and I actually have another meeting, regarding storage space and whatnot. So maybe we could even potentially move it out of that room into somewhere else too.
Yeah, I'm a little bugged by the fact we have one room with a couple of little teeny rooms off of it. And we were talking about having like breakout kind of stuff, tea, coffee, whatever.
Mhm.
And I thought it was going in that space.
It could, but I don't think it ruins anything. I don't think it lessens the idea of having coffee either along that wall or, somewhere else in this space.
I thought we were trying to keep as much of the floor space open as possible for events.
Well, I mean,
I think what it is instead of giving us more space, they're taking space away
Yeah,
from
that's
us.
more my concern.
Yeah.
I don't care about where the coffee goes, it doesn't matter. to me.
yeah,
But I feel like we're now sort
Loses.
of on the precipice of really making activities and sort of increasing the programming. And with the little bit of space that we have, and now they're chopping some of it away. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's done, right? That we have no choice.
I mean,
I think it
I
needs to be revisited.
could revisit it with them.
Yeah.
Again, it is up for debate on other storage, so if we find out that there's other things, we can move their set plan into somewhere else. Potentially and get that room back. Yeah, I guess it depends on what programs we're looking to bring into that area in that space, whether we need a whole big open floor or if we're gonna piece it in certain areas, if we could put a puzzle in the back with a coffee station or like a little reading nook, or, are you just looking for events where it's just, you want to put 25, 30, 50 people down there, So I think that depends on what
That's a
we're
good question.
wanting to use it for as well.
I think if the floor has stuff on it that is movable, that allows you to use the entire space, not that you'd have it empty of everything all the time,
Right.
but just, when they do yoga and Tai Chi, they bring certain equipment. They could store that in the old office and still use part of the office for some sort of teensy refreshment kind of thing.
There was complaint at the Meet Melissa.
Mhm.
That it seems like the space down there was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that they were being almost pushed out
Mhm.
of, this was the yoga group.
Okay, okay.
So,
I wonder though why they feel that way, because We actually emptied that room and got more space.
Well, now I can't, I
So-
don't know if their experience had been before the equipment went away. So
Yeah,
that could very well have been. They
Mm,
accessed, you know,
yeah.
the couch and the coffee table and the chair takes up some space. And then there's round tables that take up other space.
okay,
And it seemed like they were just getting more and more crowded in their ability to do yoga.
okay,
There was also, as we talked about, Melissa, the request that there be an additional yoga during the week.
mhm,
Because they're having to go to other towns for that, and they would prefer to have their own group be doing it in town. So that's just another throw out up there as,
Is that instructor not available a Saturday one?
I don't-
No, okay. none.
So a lot of the instructors go to multiple
Yeah,
centers.
yeah,
Mm.
right. they have
And
designated
so
Days and
the-
certain.
For us, the reason we grabbed her and had to start the class 10 minutes early is because she actually goes to Northborough after. And the woman that is in Clinton, I know has 4 classes there and then also goes to 2 other places. And has her own sessions within her home, so on like Zoom.
Yep, okay.
So they're kind of, you know,
Yeah.
so my thought was, do we have to find somebody that does, and this might be okay, maybe it'll bring in different people, but if you have a different instructor during the week, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Saturday people are gonna go to that class either. They may not prefer.
Mhm.
A different person. Maybe there's 2 different sets, you know, maybe we do a chair yoga and a mat one, or, you know, so there's some room to think about bringing one in during the week. It's just a matter of kind of getting out there and finding who has free time
Right.
available, on their schedule, so.
Yep.
And I mean, and then again, we go with the cost, and that's again, something else that now it's $140 a week potentially instead of 70.
Mhm.
And if we're only getting, you know, $15, you know, for people, it's kind of, and we have to try things. I mean, we're in that, you know, it's gonna be trial by fire, you know, we're gonna have to figure out what works and what doesn't work.
but maybe we
Um,
don't start with more yoga, maybe we start with some other offerings
Yeah.
and then move more yoga in or.
Yeah, which is, I think the survey will be a big help on that,
Right.
to pinpoint, you know, exercise, yes. What class? One thing that did come out of 19 Carter, I had somebody ask about the Tai Chi. What kind of format it was it 24, 40, and I had no idea what she was talking about, so I said, let me ask Reverend Helen. And, I got the message back to the person that was asking, and she said, oh, I might drop in for a class then and see how I feel about it. Right, so we may have, you know, gotten somebody else just by knowing a little bit more about the classes. So potentially we could bring in something different than yoga. Maybe we have seniors that are a little bit
Mm.
more strength and balance, you know, they want those things
Mhm.
instead of yoga. So,
Complete balance.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
ton of
There really
exercises,
are.
in groups. I know that somebody had mentioned they used to have line dancing over at 1870. Um, she apparently moved to Florida, so they lost her. She just left. So, again, you know, it's gonna be trying to find people to replace people that have left and see if the need is still, or the desire is still there, I guess, but definite things to think about.
With respect to the space and keeping the floor space optionally open. I mean, if you're using round tables or using long tables, you can either buy or make carts to haul them out into the hallway if you need the floor space open. That's the easiest way to
Yeah.
bring them in when you want to have a table.
And I
set.
think that's the other thing too, right? That goes with the storage. People already say that it's unwelcoming down there. And now we're just gonna put a bunch of rows of tables and chairs out in the hallway to accommodate whatever class they're running, or, you know, I think that takes away from the look. I think, you know, it takes away from the homey comfortableness that people are looking for. But it also requires a lot of setup and a lot of breakdown.
Right.
So we don't have a lot of volunteerism right now. I was told that it was nixed before, and I don't know, you know, if that was not the right thing, but so that's me going down, setting up, me coming up, me going back down, breaking down, me moving everything, which is fine if there are attended programs and whatnot, but it goes along with if they're not wanting to walk down that hallway with desks in the middle of it, you know, and it just doesn't feel like they're going to a good welcoming space. I think that's where we need to find some storage to be able to put
Yeah,
tables
but
and
I-
chairs.
I think that ought to be looked at, because that, you know, unless you have, I mean, how welcoming is the space if you got a bunch of tables plastered against the wall?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We
Tables
need,
in the space itself, as opposed to wheeling them out into the hallway.
no, I'm talking about like having an additional space to put them, not in our COA room.
Right,
So they're not, so it is empty.
right.
Yeah,
So I
if we
don't
can
know
get
what-
that, that would. be
Yeah,
good.
that's what I mean, revisit like with them where the storage is needed, that's something that we would like more storage for. The other thing is. That's all well and great, but we don't have any of those things right now. So what's the cost of getting 10 tables?
Right. I was gonna say, is what we have. those
80
three
chairs
tables
is
that are in there?
3.
There's three,
Three.
yeah.
3,
They're very, take up a lot of space.
they do,
very
they
awkward.
are,
That's because
they're weird,
Awkward.
Yeah, well, if they were foldable, right, but then.
Yeah.
right,
Fold the
then they-
you
legs.
can't move, yeah,
Right.
fold them down.
Where did those come from? Were those always in there?
Soviet Union, I think, they're
No,
pretty.
I mean, they were, I don't,
I've always seen them.
they've always been in there, okay.
Yeah, interesting.
I was over at we had an event over in Lancaster at the Seventh-day Adventist College Church. It's along the main drag. And their function room in the basement was really commodious and very well appointed, but they had a bunch of 5-foot round tables and they had a cart. So ended up setting up, I don't know what, 15 tables. And then they go on the cart, they just store them within the room, but it's a
Mhm.
huge room, and
Yeah.
not like downstairs, but.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I worked in the concert hall, we had tables, we had 50 tables, then
Yeah.
they go away, and then you have all auditorium. So in that case, we had a separate room to store stuff in,
Yeah,
Right.
which is. what you're
and that
saying.
would be, yes, if we could do that, then. Yeah, that's great if we had that space to do it, but again, like you said, you know, you don't want them in that room, because it takes away from it, in the hallway there. You know, it just looks cluttered and messy,
The tables you have over in Clinton are nice. They're.
oh, the ones
fold
in the
right up.
dining room?
They were upstairs in a couple of the rooms upstairs. They were long, thin ones.
Oh, yeah, on the third floor, those
Yeah,
new ones,
those are
yeah,
real
yeah, they're
nice.
just like buffet table, like,
Yep.
yeah, they were like 6-foot
They
tables,
fold
they
up
break in
easy
half,
And you don't.
yeah,
And they have lighter weight ones now, the ones,
yeah,
the ones we had. Mechanics Hall are either plywood or particle board. Particle board's awful, because it
yeah,
weighs a lot.
heavy,
They don't last.
Ours lasted, but
Yeah.
for the first several years there was no elevator, so if you wanted to
Oh,
take
God.
second floor to third floor, one on your shoulder.
Oh, my.
that sounds terrible.
Wow.
Upstairs.
Don't volunteer for that.
Yeah, I'm not going
No,
there.
no.
Not that this hasn't been
Anyway,
productive,
exactly.
but it's like 6 minutes to 5.
And I'd
Um,
have to leave at 5:15 no matter what.
Let's just move right along.
We're
Yep.
moving.
So then the actions taken during the past 2 months, so I am attending coffee hour at 19 Carter every Wednesday.
That's good.
From 10 to 11, again, just to put a face with a name and know that I'm
Good.
there.
Yeah.
If they have something more pressing or more personal, they can make an appointment and come in and, you know, we'll close the door and chat. Veterans Breakfast, I am trying to get up and going. The first one I have is February 13th at 9 AM.
Great.
Hoping that will go and continue at the second Thursday of every month. Then I'm hoping to do 219, meet the director here in our COA space. Which-
2/19, February 19th.
February
Got it.
19th, yep.
Yep.
Which I'm hoping that the upgrades that we will discuss in a minute, are done by then. So it's a nice welcoming room, painted, whatnot. And then with my senior center, I talked about it briefly before, but, tracking attendance and what is happening in the outside world, who I'm talking to, who's coming in to ask questions, you know, it just takes a little note that it's an office visit, you know. Again, just to track where my time is, what's happening and who we're
Yeah.
helping. Yeah. So that is,
We were looking for that before.
yeah,
when we were going to hire a new director? So that,
I think it's important, you know, you need to know where your money is being spent.
Oh, yeah.
As
Well, when they first
you're-
introduced it, I thought it was great, and then we
Absolutely.
just
Yeah, you're
dropped it,
again,
exactly.
your property taxes, you know, and everything
Also-
pay for our salaries.
Yeah.
And that's, if you can't find who you're looking for and who you're going to and people start wondering why that position is even part of it, you
Right.
know, and I'm trying to prove the opposite.
Well,
So
I was gonna say, we were trying to justify full-time in
Mhm.
our hopes to expand, and this will help.
hopefully, yeah, this will be, you know, just even how many people I talk to a week, what meetings I'm in, you know.
Yeah, that's really
Um,
good. That's good information. Gives you a
Yeah.
sense of what's going on out there.
I think it's different too being up
Yeah.
here. You know, people can see that I'm at my desk and
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
out and
You
about.
exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
You got it.
shenanigans, you know. So plans for collaboration, I am still trying to, this is my own, trying to get part of, to Judy Mills for Berlin Senior Citizens Association and see where we can work together, collaborate a little bit more. I know that they've lost, you know, the luncheons, because they don't have a kitchen anymore. Is there something we can work with? Can we help with the cost? Can we host it downstairs at the grab and go? I don't know. So there's multiple things there that we could discuss for programs. I know they used to do trips, whatnot, so maybe that's, you know, another area. Well,
There's actually another item beyond that toward the bottom, but that's assessing seniors' stated needs for
Yeah.
services from the COA.
yeah, yep,
So maybe you want to just do the stuff above that. Which is what you, which is what you
was-
wanted
it
to
was-
make.
it was up
Plans
here
for
on
collaboration.
collaboration with
Yeah.
other areas.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. When you start, okay, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So, the next one is transportation issues. I am starting now to get some calls with people needing rides, looking for, for medical appointments. As far as the van driver recruiting, I did put it back out on Indeed yesterday.
So we just don't have a van driver, we have a van.
We have a van,
I still
we
have-
just don't have anybody to
okay.
drive it. I did put it back, it never left the town site. It's been out on the town page. So I'm gonna do some flyers, hang them hopefully at the general store, 19 Carter, put it out there. At the library, see if maybe Market Basket, I can put something up there. But I did put it back out on Indeed yesterday, and I've had 4 applications.
Great.
Excellent.
They look pretty good. I mean, I am setting up interviews for 3 of them.
And what exactly do we have posted as this job? How many days, how many hours?
So it's listed, I think it's listed as per diem, and that's gonna be based on the first person that I can get. What can you give me?
Hmm.
Or can you give me 3 days? Can you give me 5 days? Can you do 4? And if they're a good fit, then I would find somebody to do the other 2 days or, you know, kind of split the hours. What we need to be careful of is we can't go more than 20 hours for any individual. So once you do
Why?
that, it needs benefits,
Above the
Oh,
20.
right.
the 20,
Yep.
Okay.
vacation,
Got it.
paid time off, sick days, all of that.
Right, right.
So my thought is 19 and 16, so we cover 35 hours, but we don't go over the 20.
Mm.
So, if we could get 2 people to do that, that would be great.
Are we able to give them any minimum?
Because you don't know how much we need.
If we have a schedule, for example, if they're already hired and we have a schedule on a Tuesday and we cancel, we pay them. But we cannot say you get 4 hours worth of time, even if we don't book it. We have to cancel it.
Yeah.
And you pay
Could
them
be
the-
snow.
You pay them at the current rate when you cancel or a discount rate?
No, it would be their hourly rate, which will be 18.21 until July 1st, and then it'll go up to 18.57 an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be nice, you know, I know we discussed at a last meeting to say,
I just worry
We
we're gonna have
can-
a hard time keeping.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm.
yeah. It is hourly rate is about what it is for other towns
I don't think
locally.
I don't think the salary is
Right.
not competitive. I think to say to someone, we want you to commit to us for 3 days a week, but you may only work a half an hour in those 3 days, is gonna be difficult, I think. I wouldn't want to take that job.
Yeah,
Or to come in just for a half an hour. You know, I've blocked out all of Tuesday. I end up working a half an hour, taking someone to Market Basket and back, and now I've ruined my whole day and I get paid $8. You
Is
know,
that
that's.
true for this person though? I mean, you're guaranteeing income whether people show up or not.
No,
No,
no, you're not.
no, we
No.
can't.
Cancel.
Oh.
Yeah, if we
oh,
cancel.
Got it.
So
got
if
it.
we had a full Tuesday booked from 8 to 12 or
Okay.
8 to 2, whatever. And there's a snowstorm and we cancel and we can't
Got
take
it.
their trip,
Okay.
Then
we
pay
would
it.
have to pay them.
Got it.
If we cancel, for, I guess that would be the only, like, inclement weather would be the only real, I
Wow.
think,
Yeah.
cancellation.
Or unless the band
Um,
broke down.
Yeah, that's not, yeah, I didn't
Hmm.
think about that.
Hmm.
If we cancel on that and we cancel the rides, then they would get paid.
Okay.
But there
um,
are
Wouldn't they
nobody
get paid
asking
then?
for
When
a.
would-
If we don't have anything scheduled for a Tuesday.
Okay.
So if we're saying, hey,
So
your days are
Tuesday's
Monday,
their
Tuesday,
day.
Wednesday,
Nobody's booked a ride.
nobody books a
We
ride.
don't need you. You don't get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
think,
Stop.
It's per diem. It's like a per diem,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think
but even if you book them. yeah,
my,
it's
my
still
hope
I wouldn't drive for them.
is that it,
getting it up.
You
that
know
it
that-
starts to pick up,
Hmm.
right? So even just in the 8 weeks that I've been here, we've gone from having a driver 3 days to having a driver 2 days to then not having a driver in 2 months. So people, I think, are either, I'm not gonna call because they couldn't accommodate me because they didn't have anybody available on Thursday anymore.
Yeah.
All of my doctor's appointments are on Fridays. I can't get there. So I think it's kind of set the norm right now that we weren't able to provide that for them. There wasn't consistency. So I'm hoping that if we can get and keep somebody, that then it will make sense to have, we will need the 3 days or the 2
Unfortunately, we
days.
didn't have
to
a
do
lot
that.
of demand before.
I-
Even before all that started to erode, we
Well-
didn't have a lot of demand.
There are reports, and you guys, there was a demand in the spring. There was absolutely a demand in the
Hmm.
spring. They were doing a lot of rides. And then it seemed like,
How many's a lot
I think they helped 70 something people
in a month?
in,
Mhm.
no, I think it was over 3 months.
Yeah.
So, but that's
That's a lot.
still only
That's a-
almost 30 people, I think too, the scheduling. I think if you do this day, you go, which again, will depend on the micro transit, but if this day you're going to Highland Commons, you have 7 people that consistently call to go to Highland Commons. Right now, you're like, oh, I can't take you because I already have a medical appointment that day, so I can't take you that day.
That will make a difference.
I think it'll make a difference if you can say, this is when we go to this area, this is when we go to this area.
Right.
And then people know, and it gets into a routine of, if I call on Monday night, I can go grocery shopping on Wednesday. If they're constantly getting bumped, which I understand medical appointments, don't get me wrong. I know that those are very important. That's what we need to get people to. But I think that's part of some people just gave up on calling and asking us because
Yeah.
they might schedule that ride today. But then if somebody, if you have it scheduled and then Bob calls tomorrow and says, hey, in 2 days I need to go to
The
Concord.
cardiologist, yeah.
Concord, cardiologist wins over, being
That's
able
it.
to do
Yeah.
both.
So this new program with Metro West that they're doing will help us 5 days a week.
Yep.
A pretty good spread of hours. They will take people from on call from
Mhm.
Berlin to
Hmm.
Hudson.
Mhm.
They will also take, which is a bad part of it, they will take people to Marlboro, because people from here do go to Marlboro to the hospital.
Yep.
Not to the hospital. They take them to a bus stop.
They take them to a bus stop.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you
wait.
kidding?
No.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not gonna be useful
Which
at
is
all.
good.
So that one stop to me is kind of goofy
Okay.
when he was talking about it. I don't know that I would want to do that at 45 and like, I don't take the T because if I have to change, like I'm getting lost, so I feel like if we put somebody on
Yeah.
a van or some sort of transportation, it needs to get them to
To
where
a
they're
point of
going.
Wait,
There's an
So-
obligation
between.
there.
Yeah, so I think what in my mind, how that would work is utilize them for the in-town stuff, so people can go to Highland Commons on an off day that we don't go. If you need milk and groceries, the storm's coming and we're full, whatever that is. And be able to use our van for the Marlboro Hospital stops, the medical appointments, because then we're not having to do all the in-town
Yeah.
stuff because they can handle all that.
Right.
But and
So-
they're both small vehicles, right? They're giving us small vehicles.
I forget what the size is. It's not a big
It-
van.
yeah.
Not a teensy van either. Probably 8 to 10.
I think it was
passengers.
8 to 10.
Because I was just saying, can we use them to go to Highland Commons?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
And have the Wednesday shopping trip be on them, so we free up our person to go to individual appointments.
Essentially, they can do 5-day-a-week shopping,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so through the micro transit, they call the dispatch in Worcester, their office, I think it's in Worcester too,
It's-
what is it now?
They call the Metro West office.
Metro West office. And schedule with them, so we don't have anything to do with that. So they could call, I don't know what their time frame is, we're still waiting for some details from them, whether it's
Supposed to
28
be
hours, 24 hours, 48 hours.
Yeah.
So our van driver at least would have a day notice that they wouldn't be needed.
Yeah, so
Okay, so that's
typically.
helpful.
Typically what, and this is my experience from Clinton, was 48 hours. So if by 2 o'clock today, if you need a ride on Wednesday and you haven't called me, you're Thursday now, it's Tuesday, you don't get a ride.
Okay.
We can't accommodate you, the schedule's
So the
already made,
cutoff is 2
I've
o'clock
already let.
today for
Yeah, it
Thursday.
doesn't
Yes.
necessarily have to be 2 o'clock, but
Of-
that's what Clinton is because their dispatcher works 9 to 2.
Mhm.
And so they had a 2 o'clock, if you didn't schedule by 2 o'clock, 48 hours, they weren't able to accommodate you because they've already done the scheduling.
Yeah.
And they are busy, and they try to do as many, so it would be one van driver would pick up 4 people and bring to Sterling, Reliant, and then go up to Leominster Walmart, and then go to something else, and then backtrack and pick everybody up.
Mhm.
So they
Interesting.
scheduled more rides.
Right.
It did look like there were 1 ride per day some days, and that's it. And again, that goes with well, you only worked 2 hours today. You only worked 2 hours this week, so I certainly understand not. We're kind of in the middle. We have to see the need and the demand, but we also have to hire people to see
Understand, it's a
if we have the
catch-22.
demand. Yeah,
Really.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's kind of a catch-22 right now with that. But
Yeah, understand.
I will say that Kelly, she is from MCOA. I met with her a couple weeks ago and she said it is a statewide problem for drivers.
Yeah.
She said if you don't already have them driving for
It's
you,
actually a national
she
problem.
said it has been,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Worcester Regional Transit itself has problems getting drivers for their buses and minibuses and all.
yeah,
Every-
yeah, so
No, it's
I-
national.
it is, it's hard. And then, let's see. So the assessing, oh, she's mine.
Oh. One of your grandchildren.
Assessing seniors' needs, going with this, so that's where the survey is gonna come in.
Okay.
Um,
However.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get the email? Cause we can put together the info we got from the Powder House News. I thought
I
everybody,
printed- But this is what you sent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I put you on.
yeah, I have that, yeah.
Yeah.
She's got it. Okay.
This
Well,
you're talking about?
See it?
what we did was combine the
Um,
input we
I
got
just sent it
from
the
the
other day.
Powder House News survey and the input we got
I
from,
didn't see this.
I can print another. You can have that. if
No,
you
I
want.
have printed.
You're talking the survey requests,
Thank you.
that's what you're talking about, yeah.
that
Those
just
were our
is a
surveys.
thumbnail of
And
the
she would
different
put whether or
kinds of
not they should
activities
put them
people
together
have
so we can
requested.
have-
Yeah,
Organized
yeah,
for-
but see here, like survey requests, like farmers market with coupons. Like, are you talking about an actual farmer's market here with coupons? Cause they have farmers market coupons already,
Right,
Yeah.
handled by Mock.
And when I read that, I thought they also had farms, so they could actually go to the
But
farm.
there, I read something in one of them that, was it Clinton who, like, one of the farmers markets will come to.
Growing places, they have growing places. So that's what I mean, like, it's just
It's a-
clarifying, like, that survey result was like farmers market with coupons. Like, is that like wanting growing places to come here as a location? I can call them tomorrow and,
coupon, I work with the farmers markets in Natick. What are the coupons for?
so they're from Mock and they're booklets of 10 $5 coupons, so it's a $50 value, and you can use them at farm stands and farmers markets. Yeah, there are guidelines. Income is a guideline. You have to be 60, or have most of your meals prepared with a
Wow.
60-year-old person in your home. But
I've
those
heard
do, they
that.
come, yeah, you
Never
have to
gotten
keep
one.
track of
I've been
them.
Doing it for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never gotten one, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
now you'll know what they are.
they are, yeah.
And I want to be suspicious.
It also has these little raised gardens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Whole bunch
There's a
of 'em.
whole ton of
Ah,
them there,
neat.
which is
Mhm.
awesome.
Pretty neat.
They were
The
built by
Scouts made them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scouts built those.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, now that goes to, they had the land, where would we,
We have community gardens. Got
yeah,
Land down there to get for, I think, $1 a year or something.
That's it? That's what they do?
Hmm.
Really?
That's what,
I
They
didn't know how much
charge
it was.
somebody?
no,
I know.
we pay,
Yes. Yeah.
the town pays $1, I think, a year for using that land.
Oh,
oh, that's it.
But the town has made a lot of really nice
They're
infrastructure
beautiful
improvements. in
gardens.
that.
Okay.
They have some nice
Gardeners-
gardens, but
The
I would
gardeners
think-
pay for use of that?
Pardon?
Do the gardeners pay for use? of
Yeah,
the
it's
town?
like $20, $30 for
Pretty
a
pretty
lot.
dinky
Okay.
amount.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Is it small?
but
small amount?
Relatively small.
I don't see why we couldn't add.
Nice
on
though, a lot of
Yeah,
space
And
actually.
get more space
Get
for
more
raised
Yeah.
space
beds.
for raised
Yeah.
beds. They
Yeah.
have
That's an
some raised
option.
beds, but
Okay.
To do some
Interesting.
smaller ones,
Yeah.
seniors.
Okay.
possibility.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to say before we go past it, is that all of the items listed on that came out of the Powder House News questionnaire. And it came out of the visits to the COAs in the area, the
mhm,
members of this board did. And it takes all of those recommendations and shrinks it down to what's on that list there.
Mhm.
Some of them surprised me. I thought people
Ah.
had some really good ideas, actually.
Interesting.
but you should know what the Wild Women's Club is and the Dull Men.
So Wild Women is a group of, I will say, probably, well, there's some older seniors in there, but the younger seniors, the people that don't feel like they're senior yet.
The
Um,
truckers.
and so they're the Wild Women. But they usually get like 30 people to their
Huh.
events. They do scavenger hunts, they do a block party.
Wow.
I mean, they've gone in like tulip picking, but it's
Huh.
the Wild Women. And so that's interesting in and of itself, I feel like, because they're already a group.
Mhm.
So it would be like a group here that is already associated with 30 people that want to participate with an event that we kind of co-host with them. Like we have the space or we help them plan, we keep track of, they do a Thanksgiving meal. So they do like their Friendsgiving and they just call the program coordinator and they tell her, my name is blah, blah, this is what I'm gonna bring. And she keeps track of all of it. And then the leader of the group
Good.
kind of, checks in with her.
Yeah.
Delman is more of a, in town, our historian, Mr. Ngano, he runs it, and they just
Hmm.
talk about stuff, life, what's
And
bothering
stuff.
you, what, yeah, what are you
Yeah.
complaining about,
We
what,
can't talk about politics or religion.
religion, yep,
Very smart.
yep.
Yep.
Interesting.
So, yeah, there's definitely room for things here to bring in. It's just schedule wise and when you're dealing with smaller space and venue, you're constantly, like I said earlier, breaking down, setting up. So you can't really back to back to back things. So my computer just
Well, that
died, but I don't
speaks
think
to
it
the
matters,
issue
but.
of attracting volunteers to work with. Because I assume that the Clinton Senior Center had volunteers who came in and helped with things as well.
They do, but they also have rooms that you can stay dedicated to those spaces,
Mm.
which we wouldn't have. So if you have a lunch or a craft, it went in the dining room after lunch. Do
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So like the tables were already set up.
We need a little wing out back.
Yes, we need a little private wing.
Yeah.
Yes, but volunteers are a big part of
Hmm.
that facility running well.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had quite a few, but, and again, I don't know if that's, I had heard that it was kind of negated for volunteers, that it wasn't
Hmm.
You know,
needed.
We should just say we're starting fresh.
That's
Yeah.
a great idea, Linda.
We're
Yeah.
not taking any whatever rumors or whatever they might have been from the past, and it's a new day.
That was my question, just trying to learn things in different groups.
Yeah.
Because to me, it seems like, why wouldn't you work with X group? They already
Yeah,
have the
why?
information. Why wouldn't we work with
Let's just do it.
B group?
Move
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
I think if you don't look back.
And do it and demonstrate the effectiveness of it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things about getting volunteers is Neshoba Neighbors uses a lot of them.
Yep.
And I know I've had a discussion about them talking to people who are volunteers. It's possible that COAs in your town could also use your help. It's not like they're working for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's-
Does Neshoba Neighbors have like a meeting for their volunteers semi-annually or
They have
anything?
training sessions, they have.
Well, I was just wondering if, you know, there would be opportunity for Melissa to have audience with the volunteers and say, here's some other opportunities if you would be interested. Would that be stepping on Neshoba Neighbors' toes too
I
much,
don't know.
do you think?
I'll check it with my boss.
Oh, I was like, who's?
Yeah,
Nice to her.
He actually mentioned that it's possible we could talk to them and say,
yeah,
they need volunteers here too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
spending 40 hours a week at it.
right.
You work as many or as few as you
I,
want.
I do think one thing that's nice about Neshoba Neighbors too is it's specific. So if you're good at IT, you know you can volunteer for the technology things. If you like to drive, you can volunteer to take people on the road, you know. The more you specify, I think, if you just blanket, hey, we need
No, I agree.
volunteers,
Yeah,
nobody's gonna volunteer. 'cause
Right.
They don't.
You don't know what you're volunteering for.
Am I running a craft?
Yeah,
Am I cooking?
yeah.
You know, I
Right.
am not crafty at all.
No?
We
So
don't
I
see
think
it.
it's specific. I think if we say we are looking for volunteers in the following
Yeah,
areas.
once we get down what we
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The other
right.
good thing about the Neshoba Neighbors volunteers is they're interviewed and vetted,
Hmm.
and they have to pass Corey tests, and
Yeah,
if
that's
they
all.
drive, they have to pass all.
Oh, yeah.
All that
Yeah.
stuff, so that's,
Yeah.
you're not getting a pig in the poke.
I mean, and I think it's a good program just in and of itself that it gives you peace of mind for
Yep.
younger families for their aging
Mhm.
relatives.
Right.
Be
Yeah,
it parents or not, it would be a wellness check, you know, not everybody has time to drive 40 minutes to help your
Sure.
mom change a smoke detector, you know, but
Right.
I mean, we could call the fire department for that too, they'll do it, but.
Linda has to go now. We had now we had plans for future events. Do we have to, anybody got some spiffy ideas in their heads they want to drop on us quickly?
Well, we've got this whole list of possible things, but maybe we need to discuss them next meeting.
Yeah, I think we need to. devote
Start with
some
that.
time.
Is that list online, by the way? Can I? put-
She has one.
I
Oh.
you want a paper? copy?
Yeah, please.
You could, I think you,
I
yeah.
did send
There's
it.
no more
to your
grabbing
email
those,
as
right?
well.
Grabbing.
We have not done grab and goes,
I
and
know it
then,
was on the email.
all right.
I
The-
may post them.
All right,
caterer
thank you.
that they have used is retiring in July.
thank you, madam.
Do we
So I'd
do
have to
one
find
more with
another
them?
page.
Oh,
That's
So I'm
great.
trying to do a summer barbecue.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
The-
so I've got to try to get that planned too. And again, volunteers, you know, I can't.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, the seven of us. Can't, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, can't do it all, but
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned about cleaning up
So
the
these
space
current
downstairs.
activities-
Yeah.
When's that happening?
what
Is
these
someone
are.
coming in to paint or what's going on?
so
with
we
it?
would have to pick a color. Whoever,
Mhm.
if it's a board decision or me, we pick the color, we buy the paint, and then Ken will paint the whole thing
Okay, great.
it for us.
We have some coloratura members of the board who would like to pivots on what paint color is in.
Kate?
Kate,
Blue.
she's
He
shaking.
was selling in these real estate days.
You want me to pick the paint color? I'm sorry. My family has now arrived home and it's quite loud and I just had to shut. I don't have
was gonna
any
say, we
other
could-
ideas. I think.
We could
start-
pick out some samples each and talk
Yeah.
about it at the next meeting and see what we got.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Alright.
good. Okay.
Is what actually occurs today, these activities, right?
Yes, that is
Okay,
what's
all right,
currently at
all right.
their council
It
on
is
aging. Yeah.
popular.
Okay, okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so not to delay, to continue everyone's agony, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Or
Second.
everyone's pleasure for that matter? Yeah,
Yes.
better way to say.
5:20.
All right,